Hey, beautiful beings. I guess it's actually Thursday because I didn't record a video yesterday, so I'm a day late. But anyways, happy week. And my name is Katie Sutton, intuitive channel and founder of Zen Within Academy and the New Earth Now School. I wanted to share something that came up for me yesterday that feels a little tender, but it feels appropriate for some of the energies that I see that we are clearing out after the eclipse. So as we moved out of the eclipse portal, it felt like we were letting go of a whole bunch of things that were not serving us, not serving the collective. And we're in that integration phase right now, and we're in Mercury retrograde, and it's just a little intense. It feels like we're processing a lot of things. And sometimes I feel like the cosmic events, when they're over, we get so overwhelmed that we have to catch up a little bit and integrate everything, and that is equally, if not sometimes more difficult. But at any rate, I went to a yoga class last night, and I haven't been to a yoga studio to attend a class where I wasn't doing sound healing in a really long time, probably since, honestly, before COVID. And one of the things that came up for me as soon as I dropped into the class, it was a really nice deep stretch class, was a whole bunch of grief. And I'm used to having grief. It's like something that I tend to walk with a lot in this lifetime, but what I was grieving shocked me. So what came up for me is just all of the memories of being in community at the yoga studio that we used to go to all the time, which was Be Yoga in Carmel and in the Dilworth area. And that was our yoga home, and we had community there, and it was where we started doing sound healings and doing events, and it closed because of COVID. And actually one of the studios where I taught aerial yoga at closed before COVID, thankfully, because I was able to grieve that before we got into that process. But what came up for me last night was the crazy amount of grief that I still have, that I'm still carrying, of things that we lost during the pandemic that we are not getting back, honestly. One of the reasons why I haven't been to a yoga studio is there's not one close to me, and my schedule is crazier than ever. I'm just really busy, which I'm grateful for, but trying to get to a yoga class in a studio after I'm done working is challenging. And I'm not seeing clients this week because I took the week off for my birthday, which is on Saturday, so I had a little bit more time. But what kept coming up for me was, gosh, I had a routine, and I had a community, and I had a level of support that I just haven't been able to find again since, at least in that container, since COVID. And I have plenty of friends and plenty of community in other ways, but there was a lot of grief there. And I work with people all the time, and we work on what's present in their life right now and what's going on with them in this moment, and what loss they're grieving or what transition they're moving through now. But I don't think we have recovered from what happened 4 years ago. I don't think we've recovered from that shift. And what I look at when I look out into the world is, it just feels like we are so disconnected, and we are so in a state of isolation, and it's become our norm. And so moving beyond that, one of my blockers of going and trying a new yoga studio was like, oh, I don't have to leave the house. Right? I can just do it at home. The reality is I like the structure of a class, and I like to go somewhere where I'm not holding the container for myself. And we've had to do so many hard things, I think, in the last 4 years. And I know life is always got some level of hard, but it just feels like it's exponentially greater. And I wonder how much grief we are carrying collectively that we still haven't processed. And I imagine if it's in me, and I tend to tap into my emotions a lot, and I tend to tap into my grief a lot, that it's running behind the scenes for a lot of people, and they don't even know it. And one of the things that I find about grief is that it robs me of my vitality, and it robs me of like so many things when I'm not processing it. When I'm processing it and being with it and allowing it to come up, it actually busts my heart wide open and brings in more energy and brings in more desire to be here. But when I'm not processing it, it just gets stuck in my body, right? And so I just found that really interesting yesterday, that all of that was underneath there. And once I got through the little pocket of grief that was there, or actually the big pocket of grief that was there, I got angry. I got a little angry that so much stuff has happened, and I could point a lot of fingers and place a lot of blame on how things were handled and how we were not taken care of by our systems and our structures in this process. I could point a lot of fingers, and I think all of that is valid and true, and I think that we have a lot of things to be angry about. But at the same time, I can also see how this experience has served us, and it is creating change on this planet, and it is waking people up. And I can hold both of those at the same time. I can be sad and angry and frustrated, and I can see that this has served us. And I don't spend a lot of time talking about it, but it's still in there. I'm still feeling it in my body and in my being. And so I just wanted to call that out, because I wonder if maybe this eclipse energy and some of the things that we're integrating, what I'm finding is I'm reclaiming some things that I lost. Not just going back to yoga, but there's other things too, that a level of balance that I had lost during that time that I'm slowly continuing to reclaim. And then new things that I'm embodying that I wasn't able to embody before, right? And so that's one of the things that I wanted to chat with you all about today. We've got this theme this month of finding peace within and really anchoring into that internally. And one of the things attached to that is being able to drop into a place of safety and trust that if things are changing outside of us, if systems and structures are not supporting us in the way that we need, that we can still call on support and we can still find safety, and we're still going to be okay. And so I think that theme kind of speaks to what I was just talking about, that I was processing last night. And these kinds of emotions, when we're not dealing with them, they keep us a little off kilter. They take us out of our center, and they take us out of a place of alignment and a feeling of safety in our body. So we have to do the work, right? We have to do the work and drop in. And sometimes we need to cry through a yoga class like I did last night, and then think about, okay, what's coming up for me, and why am I processing this now? And just feel, right? Just be in the body and just feel what it is that's there. I want to also say that we have a big astrological thing happening on Saturday. It's pseudo flying underneath the radar a little bit compared to the eclipse that everybody was making a big deal about. It just so happens to be on my 40th birthday, which feels like kind of an interesting thing. We have a conjunction that only happens every 14 years between Jupiter and Uranus. And as I've been reading from my astrologer friends about this, you really need to look to your chart and where 21 degrees of Taurus or Taurus falls in your chart. For me, it's in my 6th house, which is about fulfilling big dreams, about community, support, friendship, network, being supported. And honestly, for the last 2 or 3 weeks, I have been doing some major clearing around support in my life and working through some really big things that were blocking me from receiving that. And so it tracks. That's what we're building up to. And this is supposed to be, some astrologers are calling it the luckiest day of the year. I don't know how I feel about that, but Jupiter is the planet of luck, and Uranus comes in to bring in this revolutionary energy. And so I think if you are into astrology and you look at your chart and what's happening for you in in the house that Taurus is sitting in, you can Google that and look up your chart. You might get some insights into what this conjunction is about on Saturday. When I tune into the energy of it, I can feel a heart opening and a blessing. It feels like a blessing. And I think we could use a few blessings. I think we could use some luck. I think we could use some revolutionary energy. And I think we could use some new beginnings on this planet. There are so many things that are not functioning well. And we are so disconnected from one another, even though we have more possibilities and ways to connect than ever. The epidemic of loneliness is very present in our collective. I feel that every day when I talk to people. I feel it when I go out into the world. And I think we need to make some changes. We need to make some shifts in that. We need to create more connection. We need to build and heal our relationships. This year is very much about relationships and power dynamics within our collective and within relationships, and we are definitely working on that. So just a little food for thought for today, some things that I've been processing, some things that are present. Comment and let me know what you're still grieving past or post COVID, because I know I've got a few things on my list, one of which I talked with you about today, but there are others, and let's share space and hold space for one another. So comment below and tell me what you're still healing from, what you're still grieving that has shifted. And maybe if you want, you can also share something that has changed for the better. Maybe we can hold both at the same time and create a little conversation here. All right, so if you're local to Charlotte, I have a couple of events coming up. My partner and I are doing another ecstatic dance on April 27th. I'll put the link below this video to that. And then I have a Women's Day retreat with my good friend Ruthie Cohen-Joyner. If you've never met her, she's a wonderful EFT practitioner and Akashic record reader, among other things. She's a great space holder. We've done a lot of workshops together. We work really well together. We're going to be hosting something on May 4th called Alive in the Feminine, Celebrating You. And it's basically about celebrating that we're in a feminine body and like doing some healing work so that we can truly appreciate our divine feminine energy, which is something that I'm always trying to cultivate in this very masculine world that we live in. So if you'd like some community and some healing and some connection, join us on May 4th. It's going to be at Ruthie's farm up in Concord. So yeah, I'll put the link below this video to that too. Okay. And you can bring a friend and get a discount. Okay. All right. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.